Hello and welcome to a very special episode of the Worn and Wound podcast. I'm your host today, Blake, co-founder, CEO of Worn and Wound, and I'm joined today by two very special people, Kyle Snar.
Hello.
Nellie Calhoun.
What's up?
And today's episode is very special because we are going to be talking you through the 10th annual edition of the New York City Windup Watch Fair, the capstone to our 10th anniversary year. Our biggest, our baddest, our craziest, our most over-the-top, insane show ever.
Our most fun.
Yeah, our most fun. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. We're going to talk all about it, and you're going to know everything you need to know about the show by the time this podcast is over with. So if you're not coming to the show, you can gracefully bow out, or you're welcome to listen, because it's also going to be a fun time with friends. Right off the top, we always like to go through just the facts of the show. Nellie, would you like to go through just the facts? I'm also happy to do it.
I would love to do it.
Okay, Nellie, pop off.
So, this year's 10th anniversary edition of the New York City Windup Watch Fair will take place at Center 415 at 415 Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. That's nestled right between 37th and 38th Streets in bustling Midtown. Day one will be Friday, October 17th. Doors will be open from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday, day two will be October 18th from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And day three is Sunday, October 19th. We will be open from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m.
And this year, everybody's got to pay to get in, right?
Yeah, it's $1,000 a ticket.
Sick. Okay.
Just kidding.
Never.
Windup is totally free, completely open to everyone, and no registration necessary. So, zero barrier of entry to get into the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like always.
Always, forever and always will be, always has been, never going to change. You can hold me to it. Never going to change. All right, so before we get into any more of the details about the weekend, which we're all very excited about, let's get our wrist checks out of the way. Nellie Calhoun, what are you wearing on your wrist?
I am repping a brand that will be joining us at Windup. We also just had a great showroom event with them here in our Brooklyn Windup Watch Shop showroom. I'm wearing a Model A quartz from Pollen. Great sort of bright yellow chartreuse color. Fun watch. After 4 years of working here, I finally have a watch that I wear every day. I'll be honest now, half of the time when I was wrist checking before, during this podcast, I was lying. I was never wearing a watch.
Oh,
but
no.
I'm actually wearing this watch. And you've seen me wear this a lot. I wear it almost every day.
Yeah,
I love that
I've seen you
watch.
wear that watch a lot, and I've seen you lie quite a bit on this podcast.
Well, at least I'm honest now about the lying.
Yeah.
And we were all complicit in it.
We were. She
Yeah,
was winking
so.
so hard, and we're just like, I guess we're just going with this.
I wanted to fit in. I just didn't know how. And Pollen paved the way for me.
It's
So
it's true.
shout out.
Kyle,
Yeah.
what do you have on your wrist?
I am wearing something which I think is appropriate to kind of celebrate 10 years. I'm wearing my own Oris Diver 65. I love this watch. I think it's just one of those like perfect everyday kind of diver style watches that I can get behind. And, shout out to Oris for being, the lead sponsor from the very get-go and have come to literally not just every single year of Windup since, but every single show of every single year of Windup since, which is, I think probably held only by a few brands out there.
Yeah, I honestly don't know.
Like maybe
I'd have to think about it.
Brew, maybe?
Yeah, maybe Brew would be on the list, but not many.
Yeah. Just a handful have come to every single show of every single year ever since.
We have to figure that out.
Yeah, it's cool.
And give them a free
Anyways, I love this
thing.
watch.
Great watch. A go anywhere, do anything. GATA. I'm wearing my Rolex Explorer 2 16570, my Polar. It's on a spring-made strap, the holeless sort of friction fit strap. Love these straps. Fell in love with them when I first saw them. Forced the shop to start selling them, and now everyone in the office wears them. And they'll be at Windup too.
They'll be at Windup. I love those straps. I do have to admit that it does require me to also use my teeth to get it to the perfect tightness, but I think I've gotten it down to a science now.
As any good strap should, you know. So, all right. So we got the wrist checks out of the way. Now let's get into the good stuff. Who's going to be at the show? What can you do at the show? All that kind of crazy stuff. The bonus stuff, the free things. I don't know. Everything else.
Yeah, well, sort of in the vein of what we've already talked about, I thought it would be nice, right up at the top, to shout out the brands that have been or were at the very first Windup. Mm-hmm. That was basically like before I was born. It was so long ago.
I know. It's crazy.
Do you want to talk a little bit about those brands?
Yeah,
Blake?
sure. So, so the first show had 18 brands. I think that's including, or maybe not, like a couple sponsors who like didn't technically present at the show, but they were supporters. So the folks who are going to be at this year's show, who also were at the first show, include Analog Shift, Astor and Banks, Autodromo, Brew, Christopher Ward, Haraj, Milo Glashuta, Oak and Oscar, Oris, Raven, and Stoa. It's kind of crazy to see some of the names on that list, because I know that Analog Shift, I don't think, was that old at that point. They sponsored, I think, our opening reception.
Wow,
I remember that was the first time I ever had to talk in front of a crowd. Did not like that.
And look at you now.
I know, geez, I just can't. The stage is my best friend. Brew was brand new. Autodromo was like, all these brands were brand new. Oak and Oscar just had launched. I don't know what he was doing at that show. Like, we convinced him to come, even though he had just launched. He probably, I don't know, good for him. Oris, like you were saying, has been there from the beginning. Raven, yeah, it's crazy. It's really just interesting to look at that list and kind of reminisce about the people behind them.
Yeah.
But yeah, super excited to have everybody back, for sure.
Yeah, I think I remember my very first time I ever heard about a Windup Watch Fair was a couple years after you had started, so it would have been probably in like the fall leading up to the 2017 version, and I was like, that sounds amazing. I have to go. And as soon as you mentioned the date, I like, oh man, I had like something scheduled that weekend, but definitely was at the 2018 fair and have been to every one since then.
Yeah.
Either just as a fan or, here helping put the thing on.
You're forced to do it.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice.
No choice.
Fun fact, I missed my first ever Windup this year.
Oh yeah. That's true.
Yeah, I didn't go to, was it Chicago?
Chicago.
I didn't go to Chicago. Wow.
Why?
My sweet angel baby child, Baby Bell, my dog, got sick. He's great now. He's doing great.
He was just in the office giving the team a little morale boost.
Yeah.
Ahead of Windup.
He's the best. Well, cool. So do we want to run through some of the other sponsors?
Yeah, let's talk our leads. I think that's a good place to start. We already mentioned Oris, and, big shout out to Oris, to VJ and his team for being, such an amazing supports all these years, every single Windup, every single time. Thank you. And they're coming back to New York this year and returning also to New York from last year. We'll start with Bulova. Bulova is a New York headquartered company, and so this obviously is their kind of hometown show. It's their the tail end of their 150th anniversary this year, and we'll get to it. We have a special product celebrating both our 10-year anniversary and their 150th, which we'll talk about in a bit. We have Christopher Ward returning as lead sponsor again this year, taking that kind of primary spot when you kind of right as you walk in, you walk through EDC Expo, and Christopher Ward is there. And as of today, have a big announcement of a product that they're going to be showcasing there, which we can get to in a bit as well. But thanks for Christopher Ward for being our partner. We have Shinola returning as a lead sponsor in New York. Again, last year was not their first Windup, but it was their first time being a lead sponsor. And I would say last year they definitely took the prize for having the most inviting sort of lead sponsor setup, and just really could go and kind of immerse yourself in the design and culture of that brand. And then this year, for the first time ever at a Windup, and also the first time being a lead sponsor, we're joined by Bremont, and we're super excited to have Bremont join us. All of us watch enthusiasts know that they've been making some pretty dramatic changes to their company, to their product lineup, to their brand. Not only are they coming here to get to know the enthusiast better, they're coming here to kind of talk about those changes that they've been doing, and can kind of dive into it and dig into it, even with the highest level of leadership in their company who will be at Windup this year. So we're real excited to have Bremont join us, and great lineup for lead sponsors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very excited. There's a ton to get through, so I think maybe let's just continue to plow forward and just sort of fill everybody in. So
sure.
Where do you guys want to go next?
Well, let's just take we'll do a little preview of the end of the episode where I run through every single brand. But just to sort of reiterate and tie a few things together, we mentioned that Windup is always free, always open to everyone, and will be forever and ever till the end of time. In order to keep our show totally accessible, like, we need our amazing lead sponsors who are really pillars of support, not only for the watch enthusiast community, but certainly for Windup. We also have a slew of incredible premier sponsors. These are brands that are really stepping up, taking a strong supporting role at Windup that helps to ensure that it stays totally free and open to everyone. So special shout out to some of those premier sponsors in alphabetical order. We've got Accutron, Alpina, Analog Shift, Anordain, Atelier Wen, Baltic, Brew, Brooklotti, Citizen, Ferrer, Formex, Frederic Constant, G-Shock, Islander, Kikuo, Mad Editions, Miyota, Pollen, Studio Underdog, Timex, Watch Gang, Zarek, and Zodiac and Fossil. So a great lineup of brands. That's just a fraction of the number of brands that you'll see at the show. But all of these brands really stepping up, have great built-out booth spaces. Many of them have new launches to show at Windup, and many have been longtime partners for us. So shout out to those brands.
Did you say Mad Editions, Nelly?
I sure did.
Cool. Yeah, it's a real murderer's row of brands there. Those are like, it's all killer there.
Yeah.
No, that's really exciting. Very excited about Mad Editions among many other. So this show is like many other Windup Watch Fairs. I think you're going to walk in, it's going to feel very familiar. But we have, as we always try to, make some improvements to the show, little tweaks here and there. What is sort of like new? What can people expect? One big change, the layout is a little different.
Yeah. So, if you went last year, I think a couple things were super clear. We put a lot of watches in a room, and then a lot of people showed up. I think back to 2023, where we were in the Altman building and had a bunch of watch brands in there, and then 2024, people heard about it, and then 2023 we had a bunch of watch brands, and we had too many people in there. Kind of maybe broke some fire rules. And so in 2020...
No, we didn't. We definitely didn't.
Did not break any fire rules. 2024, we knew we needed a bigger space. We found Center 415. We're like, okay, this is going to fit all the people who showed up last year. And like twice as many people than we anticipated showed up last year. And so in order to accommodate that many people and this many brands, we're doing one big thing that accomplishes like kind of two things in the process. So we are adding another gallery at 415 this year. However, we're not increasing the overall number of brands from last year. So what that means is that it's going to allow us to move a bunch of brands into another room and spread everything out, give more breathing room, give you a chance to get up to those brands and those booths that you really wanted to get up to. So we're just building in a lot more space than we had between booths last year. The second thing this new hall allows us to do is it opens up a second staircase and creates a new flow. So as you work your way through the first floor, there's a staircase in the back of that first floor gallery that will lead you up to the second floor. And you'll be introduced there that's a new room that we did not have last year. This is where Bremont's located. This is where Atelier Wen is located, and Analog Shift and others. But a new space that wasn't accessible to visitors last year is now opened up. You can make your way through that room and then into the main hall on the second floor, and then use the stairs that we only had one set of last year as your kind of way out after you've gone and visited all of the brands upstairs. So hopefully this new gallery and these kind of allows us to open up these spaces, create more room, and create this new flow. We'll just make it a much more all over and like exciting, enjoyable, and I think just user-friendly experience this year.
Yeah, this really brings me back to my days of like sim hospital or sim whatever you were making. Because you think we're inside baseball at this point. We're talking about traffic flow. But then when you're really operating in that 30,000 foot perspective, it makes a huge difference. I think people are going to love it. It's going to make life a lot easier. Yeah, it is going to be great. It's going to make things much better for everybody.
Totally. And I think it just gives more spaces for brands to create bigger and better booths and have more storytelling opportunities, which is great.
Yeah, for sure. And we have like a bunch of stuff that's going to be happening at the show, special activations, special things. But real quick before we get to that, there's another organization sharing a 10-year anniversary related to a watch event, and that's our friends over at Watch Time. We actually launched Windup and Watch Time at the same time on the same weekend inadvertently.
10 years ago.
10 years ago. I think that the Watch Time people probably hated us because I think ours was probably announced later. We didn't realize. We were so young, so innocent, not knowing how to do anything. But they've been running an amazing event for the last 10 years. It's very different from ours. I think both events complement each other a lot. Like us, the Watch Time team works incredibly hard. Huge shout out to Sarah and Minda and Roger who run that event and make it what it is. It's really, really makes sort of that New York Watch Week what it is like, I think, these two tentpole events. And it's a huge accomplishment for them to get to 10 years.
Yes.
And their show's even bigger than ever as well. From my understanding, they're in the same location, but they've actually eliminated their panel space and they've added a bunch more brands, so there's going to be even more to see there than ever before. So, huge shout out to them. Congratulations.
And our audience will be provided with a promo code such that if you'd like to purchase a ticket to Watch Time on Sunday, you can stop by the Windup registration desk at the front, info desk. No registration necessary, Nelly. Come on. The info desk at the front and pick up a postcard with a promo code so you can get a discounted ticket for their Sunday show.
Yeah. Super great. All right, so let's get to some of these special things we have going on because there's a lot and they're pretty jazzy.
So we have some major pieces happening. I think Windup has become known for many brands as kind of like a launch moment. We're very flattered. A number of brands that work with us have really tailored their launch schedule to coincide with Windup. And we have it on good authority that at minimum 54 of the 140 plus brands are launching new watches just before or at Windup Fair, which is totally humbling and really awesome, but also means that there is going to be so much new, exciting stuff to really dig your teeth into at the event.
And when you're, I'm going to put you on the spot. Maybe this isn't something we thought of in advance. So we're going to have an info book. You can see all the different brands and all that kind of stuff. Is there any indication, perchance, in the info book that they have a new watch release?
No.
Okay.
We have tried that. It's really hard to get this information in a timely fashion to reach the printer.
Sure.
It's very difficult, but there's at least, and I think there's definitely more brands, 54 of them, and if not more, that are launching wholesale new models.
At least one every three.
Yeah.
At least one every three. And you know what, Blake? I love and respect that you are just pointing out even more ways that we can improve in our 11th year.
Yeah, it's okay. We do a great job.
Another thing to shout out is, we have EDC Expo returning this year, and very excited. Our friends at Topo Designs are stepping up to become the next lead presenting sponsor of EDC Expo. And for those of you who don't know what that is, EDC stands for Everyday Carry. It's items that can complement your life watch. Life watch. That was weird.
That's Kyle's.
Yes, sorry.
That's like written on a wooden sign in Kyle's house. Wife, life, watch.
Your watch. We have amazing pen brands, knife brands, accessories, straps, and carry solutions to fit your everyday needs.
You know what they say, the pen is mightier than the sword.
And your wife and your life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your wife rules your life.
Wow. Yeah, that's super exciting. I'm very excited for EDC Expo. There's always, just by the nature of the types of goods, I think sometimes there's products in that area that are even a little bit more affordable than some of the even affordably priced watches that are in the room. So it's very hard to leave the space walking through EDC Expo and not buy some random piece of gear.
I think, Blake, you've bought something from EDC Expo every time we've had it.
Yeah, for sure. Of course.
Of course.
Why not?
Yeah. You pick up EDC over watches, I think, at the fair.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I have a lot of watches I don't need anymore. I typically, despite what you may think, I don't really have it like that. I can't be like splurging on things all the time. You know what I mean? I got to be a little cost conscious. I got a family to take care of. You know what I mean? I got a dog.
Baby Bell gets sick.
I know. He eats a lot. Cool. So, EDC Expo, next big thing.
Bruichladdich is joining us again as our official bar sponsor. Incredible Scotch out of Islay, Scotland. They will have not only a tasting booth on the first floor, but also a tasting booth on the second floor. And there will be 2 full-service bars, one on the first floor in the same room as our panels and activations, and then one on the second floor in the main room.
Sweet.
So no matter where you are, you can wet your whistle if you need.
An awesome team to work with, for sure.
Yeah, great team.
Another thing that's happening this year is we have, for the first time ever, an official movement sponsor. And it's not something that we set out to, but we were approached by Miyota and with this idea of saying, listen, we want to become associated with the decision making around the enthusiast community, around what watches they make and what movement is powering that watch. And so just having them there, kind of telling their story and really getting into the enthusiast culture to allow people know that they are tapped in, I should say, with the enthusiast mindset. Mm-hmm. I'm really glad that Miyota's stepping up.
Yeah. And I'm sure, I know they've sort of engaged in windups in the past, but this sounds like this is sort of their biggest engagement with us in the past. And I think, I imagine they've been really kind of blown away by how much people know about Miyota when they come.
Absolutely, yeah. They're going to be building out a really cool section of the second floor, and a lot of storytelling will be happening there. So if you know Miyota, go learn more. If you haven't heard of them or need to learn more, this is a great spot to do it.
Go challenge their team to Miyota fact off. Try to beat them at that. We have some giveaways. You can get some giveaway things.
Yeah, I'll just tell you everything that's happening at the info desk at the front. So giveaways, of course. We do this every year. It's awesome. You just give us your email at the end of the weekend. We will reach out to and draw 5 winners of 5 different awesome watches. So keep your eyeballs on your emails, whatever email you use to submit to the giveaway. So this year, we'll be giving away watches from Bremont, Forstner, Junkers, the Watch Preserve, which is a vintage and pre-owned retailer out of Fort Worth, Texas. And lastly, very special, our friends at Vortic will be giving away a watch worn by John Krasinski in the hit Prime, that was worn by John Krasinski in the hit Prime TV series Jack Ryan. Vortic is a brand that has been a very long time partner of Worn and Wound and the Windup Fairs. Some of the best people, great team, and they've had a very challenging year. Blake, I don't know if you want to speak a little bit about
I mean, if you've been reading the blog and sort of checking out social media, you've probably seen this. We put a piece up about it to direct people to the GoFundMe, but unfortunately, earlier this year, R.T. Custer, co-founder of Vortic, suffered a health crisis, a health issue that he's recovering from well, and he will make a full recovery from, but it is a pretty significant challenge to him and his family, and it's not something he's going to recover from right this second. It's going to take some time, and so, a GoFundMe has been started, which I think is like nearly fully funded, which is really awesome. And his partner is stepping in to be sort of interim CEO for the brand. Lindsay, she's actually going to be at the show. RT won't be there, unfortunately, but Lindsay will be there kind of chatting with people, I think kind of networking. And, if you do get a chance to chat with her, I know they would appreciate you guys showing them some love and appreciation for what they do. But so we're just excited that we were able to get Vortic involved in one way or another. RT historically has been one of those people that's at every show, represents hard, and unfortunately he can't be there this year. But we're just really excited that they're able to be a part of it in this small way.
Yeah. And I think just the way that our community has rallied around supporting Vortic, and certainly the response we've gotten from our posts on the website, I think it really just shows that it's a very small industry community and a very intensely loving enthusiast community. I think that's one of the things broadly that I'm most proud of working with Worn and Wound and on the Windup fairs specifically. It really is a space where this community that sometimes largely exists online gets to come together and connect and support one another in person. So super glad that there's some representation from Vortic, even though RT won't be there in person.
And if you're thinking, didn't he give away a John Krasinski watch last year? He did, but there are two. There was a domestic model that was used in all the domestic shoots and an overseas model that was used in all the overseas shoots. I learned this.
Oh, cool.
So they gave away the overseas one last year, and I think this is the domestic one this year, or vice versa, but that's why there's another one on the table.
That's
so cool.
That's really cool. Those are some crazy giveaways. I think that's like the best lineup of giveaways.
Oh, easily.
Do you know what Bremont they're giving away?
I don't.
Off the top of your head.
I don't know.
We can cut that part. Great. Very exciting that those are the giveaways.
Another thing happening at the info booth at the front, we will be giving away our classic brand booklet, but this is really a souped up version. We are doing a 10th anniversary edition of our booklet, which will have a number of interviews with brands that have been participating since the very beginning. We already listed those brands. There's a letter from our editors and our co-founders shouting out our community and the brands that we've worked with. Plus, what I'm so excited for, actually, for the first time ever, we made an activity booklet. We work with the incredible designer and artist Matt Smith Johnson. He's created a number of watch and clock characters that, if you've seen our Windup Watch Fair merch, our hats and our t-shirts, we have a bunch of characters. So it's a coloring book. There are word searches. There are design your own watch pages. There are mazes. Super fun. So for any kids coming or kids at heart, those will be available for purchase with a crayon pack at the front. Great activity book for the young horologists in your life.
Yeah, and it will feature some new characters that we're having come out just for this fair.
Sweet.
And we'll continue to use them, but we had Matt design some like New York specific characters, which are really fun.
Next year, can we have them like in full costume?
I've already thought about it, and like I want to do that.
Okay,
it'll allow me to kind of hide and just like kind of fly under the radar all weekend, but then I'll be my boisterous self.
Very Times Square of this.
We could go to some ice protests dressed as the as the characters. That would be fun.
Let's see. Another thing that's going on, second floor. Last year we had Casio take over and do a kind of a timeline room. That same area is being taken over this year by G-SHOCK specifically, and really focusing on what they're calling the origin of toughness, which sounds...
It's not a gallery about me, guys.
Yeah, but I think they're going to be putting some watches through kind of some tests, if you will, up in that space. So that would be really exciting.
I'm sure after seeing that exhibition, I'm going to really want to learn more about like the design of G-SHOCK and like how it was started. And it'd be really cool if it came like straight from the horse's mouth. Is there going to be an opportunity?
Maybe.
Like that? Maybe. Okay.
Maybe.
Stay
Hang tight.
tuned. just last couple of things. The first 50 attendees in line every day at the Windup Fair will be getting special edition swag bags, chock full of fun stuff that comes both from some of the participating brands, but also a limited edition character bag made from the team here at Worn and Wound. So get there early. First 50 people in line each day will get a bag.
Awesome.
Yeah, and we can share it here because this is just a podcast. They can know the cool stuff in advance. So the tote bag we made, we're very excited about it. So if anybody out there is familiar with like the iconic New York City like bodega plastic bag with a smiley face, and at the bottom it says "Have a nice day," we've sort of recreated that with like a pocket watch guy, and it says "Have a nice time." It's very cool. It's like very New York, and you can buy them, or you could get to be one of the first 50 people online, and you'll get it full of stuff, which is exciting.
Amazing.
Exactly. All right, Snar, do you want to just touch on some of the limited editions that are going on?
So
that will be available.
We know that there's a whole slew of watches, brand new watches being launched at the fair, but we are going to be helping support a few limited editions as well that will be specific to Windup New York. The first will be the third in a series of amazing watches that we've worked with Bulova on their new kind of snorkel dive watch platform. We launched them in San Francisco this year and have had themed editions. So the first one in San Francisco kind of had a Golden Gate vibe, and then our Chicago edition was really focused on what's called, I think everyone just calls it the Bean, but it's called the Cloud Gate. And this year we'll also be having a New York edition, really focusing and featuring Lady Liberty with an amazing colorway that comes with it. So definitely head up to the Bulova booth and snag your limited edition snorkel before they're gone.
And they sell out quickly.
Very quickly.
They typically sell out.
Yeah. We'll also be supporting Studio Underdog and Fears with I'm sure you've seen it if you've been paying attention to anything social related, their Manhattan edition of their watch. Will be, the team, Richard and the team will be there, and you'll be able to procure your Manhattan edition Studio Underdog and Fears collab there. And then I want to say the last one.
And maybe, to say, maybe you'll be getting a free Manhattan cocktail if you buy the watch.
Ooh, on theme. And then Blake, do you want to talk about this other limited edition you guys literally announced today?
Yeah. So this is our second limited edition with Christopher Ward. We talked about already. He's a pretty significant partner of ours from the very beginning. We designed with them sort of starting even before the C12 logo came out. When sort of the general public saw it, we had already started talking to them about doing a limited edition on that platform, and really based on a challenge from their team, wanted to design something that was really inspired by like the history of Worn and Wound. And so the watch is being affectionately referred to as the Christopher Ward X Worn and Wound C12 Brooklynite, and it is inspired by the architecture and design of the Williamsburg Savings Bank building in Brooklyn. It sits right at like sort of the intersection of like, what is that, Flatbush and Atlantic? Mm-hmm. And really everywhere that Worn and Wound has existed, whether it was at my apartment in Fort Greene, our office at Industry City, our office now, we've always been kind of operating in the shadow of this building, of this really beautiful building. So it's a big departure from the design aesthetic of the C12 logos that have existed so far. It's very different. I'll let you kind of look it up online. I don't want to try to describe it and get it wrong, but we're really proud of it. We think it's really beautiful. We're going to have a very limited number of them available at the show. We expect that they'll probably go very quickly, and we also will have a booth dedicated just to that watch so that we're not bothering the Christopher Ward people. So and myself, Zach, someone else from the team is going to be at the booth to sort of chat about the watch and explain the inspiration and all that kind of stuff. So we're really proud of this, and we're really thankful for Christopher Ward for doing this project with us. It means a lot. And there's actually one other notable sort of limited release that's going to be at the show that we're involved with. Oak and Oscar is going to be at the show in a limited capacity. He'll be spending a little bit of time at our booth. And special for the show, because it's also Oak and Oscar's 10-year anniversary as a brand, they're going to bring 5 watches, I think it's 5, with a special caseback engraving, celebrating both of our respective limited editions. So once those are gone, they're gone. Like I said, Chase will be there to sort of chat with you about the project and his brand and what the last 10 years has looked like and what the next 10 will look like. So I'm really excited about that.
Awesome. Yeah, that watch is pretty crazy looking. The loco is pretty crazy looking. I love that architectural vibe you guys ended up with there. So that's awesome. Awesome. Well, I think the other thing we can just dig into real quick is we have, I think, again, fitting of the 10-year anniversary capstone edition of Windup, a pretty stacked kind of panel and content opportunity for everyone to come into. I think, we launched panels at Windup for the first time back in, I think, 23, New York in 23 is the first time we ever did panels, and we got an amazing, maybe it was 22. We got an amazing response to it, and we've had to, depending on, from time to time, not have them, and people always want them back. So we have panels in full force, and I think what's awesome about it is, again, they're completely free and open for everyone to just come in and check them out. There's no registration required. Just come to our panels. You can find them on our Windup Watch Fair website under Schedule of Events. But I'm just going to run through them real quick. And
can I just add one thing? If you go to the Schedule of Events and you click on an event, you can add it to your calendar, whether it's Google or like your, I don't know, what else do people use? Their AOL calendars? I don't know. But it makes it very easy to add it to your calendar. You definitely should, because as you will hear from Kyle, some of these, all of them are going to be great. Some of them involve some pretty high-profile folks that I think are going to be super busy, so you're going to want to remember to get there early.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of our panels, they start up on Friday. The first one of the day on Friday is at 3 p.m., and we'll be joined by Bremont and their CEO, Davide Serrato, and he is going to go behind the rebrand. So that rebrand that was announced at Watches and Wonders back in 24. We'll be digging deep into it and talking about it and discussing it. There's been a lot of talk of rebrands in the news lately, and Bremont put a lot of effort behind this for very particular purposes, and they're going to explain why and how it came to be. We're really excited that one of our contributors, Sam Amos, is going to be the moderator for this, and he is an amazing designer. He's worked at Nike, he's worked at the James brand, and has designed several watches and brands of his own. So it's a really cool and exciting panel going deep into that particular rebrand. I know when we announced these a couple of days ago on Slack, this was the one that people were like, oh, I got to go check that out, which is totally exciting. Immediately following that one at 4:30, we'll be joined by the CEO of Timex Group, Tobias Rees-Schmidt, and their design director, Giorgio Galli. They are going to be really unveiling and going deep into some watches that we recently saw come out, which is their new Timex Atelier lineup. These are, I don't know if you've seen them, but they're awesome looking watches, and I'm really thrilled that they're using Windup to be the first time that they're going to speak publicly about Timex Atelier, what it is, how it came to be, and what the design process was to develop these watches. And they'll be joined by both Zachs, which is always fun to have a Zach attack going for these panels. So that will be immediately followed by the Timex Atelier happy hour. So you're welcome to join us and enjoy some beverages on Timex. Next morning on Saturday, first panel of the day will be an editorially inspired panel by Zach Kazan and a group of amazing contributors. Griffin, Brett, and Meg, folks who you know and love if you read Worn and Wound, will be joining him and digging into kind of the idea behind what got these contributors into collecting. And then, Blake, I wanted you to kind of talk about what we've got going on at 3 p.m. on Saturday.
Yeah, so we're taking advantage of the fact that we have all these brands that were sort of OG participants in the first Windup and coming to this one. This is, I think we can call it a power panel. There's a lot of people on stage. There's going to be like a dozen of us. And we're really just going to kind of talk about, what was the first Windup like? What have the last 10 years looked like? What do the next 10 years have in store? Just really giving everybody a chance to sort of talk a little bit about their brand and its relationship to the show, and just how community has impacted what they do, because that's what the fair is really all about. And if you stick around to the end, we'll probably do a little impromptu toast at the end to celebrate. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. It's like getting to go on stage with 10 of your friends, you know what I mean? So
That's awesome.
I'm really excited about that.
It'll be, I don't know how yet we're going to arrange the chairs, but we're going to make it happen. It's going to be amazing.
It'll be great.
I have an idea. It's 6 director's chairs in the back, 6 regular height chairs in the front.
I can also stand like Maury Povich, you know what I mean?
That's true.
That would be really fun.
I'm ready, and I can go in the crowd, and like the people can say, "Yeah, you suck," and then everybody goes, "Yeah."
It feels, the way that's set up feels a little bit like After the Rose for The Bachelor, the way they have all the contestants together.
Not a member of Bachelor
Okay,
Nation.
sorry.
Yeah,
to
no,
say.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, fine. Okay, well, if that didn't sound exciting enough, the last presentation of the day, starting at 4:30 on Saturday, is something I'm extremely looking forward to, and I think this is a big just get for Windup in general. Blake alluded to earlier, the legendary Japanese engineer who invented the G-SHOCK watch, Mr. Kikuo Ibe, is going to be speaking to us free of charge, come one, come all, and hear it from his story about the invention of the G-SHOCK from his own lips. And I can't wait to do this. He's someone who I have always been inspired by, his whole approach to watchmaking and his vision of what the future of G-SHOCK would be. I'm super excited to meet him in person. And best of all is after his presentation, he's going to hang out. He's going to be signing postcards, and you can purchase a watch to sign or bring your own G-SHOCK and he'll sign it. We'll try and keep him around as long as we can, but just put it in your calendars, folks, to meet a living legend.
Yeah. No, that's all. I mean, if you have the chance to get a G-SHOCK signed by him, I think you kind of have to take it. Yeah.
It's so funny because obviously eBay is one of our sponsors, but this is Mr. eBay, and it's really hard to we get confused sometimes on who we're talking about, but we're super excited to have them. It's going to be awesome. So come one, come all. And then Sunday, we also have additional panels, starting the day off with Shinola. We're going to be joined by their design team and talking about a really cool topic, which is how culture shapes Shinola's design process. I'm excited for this one, not only to kind of dig into that idea of culture shaping product design, but I get to moderate this one, and I'm excited to talk to these folks. They always have great stories to tell. The next on Sunday up, it would be Bulova and Photoville, which is sponsoring a gallery at Windup this year, and they're bringing an amazing street photographer and designer to kind of interview and get to know. Brian Alcazar will be joined on stage by a few folks from Complecto, from Photoville, and Bulova. Brian Alcazar is known as First on Instagram, so at 1ST. First, really? He's First. He's the first. And he's got an amazing Instagram, and his photos will be on display at Windup, kind of really showing off New York in pictures. So we're excited to have Brian join us. And then finally, for all you watch nerds out there, we're going to be closing it out with folks from Haraj. They're announcing some amazing news around revolutionizing regulation of mechanical watches. So really get to nerd out for all those folks who want to understand how they're revolutionizing the way that mechanical watches are regulated. So great stuff. Lots of cultural moments, lots of big names in the industry, and choosing Windup as the venue to make these big announcements.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. This is definitely the most involved, craziest, feature-rich Windup we've ever had.
For sure.
It's going to be a breeze. It's not going to be hard to put on. We're going to just sleepwalk through the whole thing. It'll be great. Right, Nellie?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just to mention, after that wild roundup of programming and panels, last year we had 10,000 people through the door over the course of the 3 days of Windup New York City. We've never had a Windup that's been smaller the following year. So just putting this out there, if one of these panels really strikes your interest, do arrive early. Saturday especially is typically our busiest day of Windup. We had a line wrapping around the block midday on Saturday last year. So we will continue to meter the door. We have to make sure that we're safe inside, not pack it with too many people. So just be mindful that we are free and open to everyone. That means nearly everyone comes, or at least it feels that way. So make sure to arrive early, get in line, stake out the panel room if you want to make sure you get a great seat for one of these panels. All right. I think we're nearing the end of our episode, which means
everybody's favorite time. Nellie almost passes out from lack of oxygen to her brain. Not really. So if you've been listening to these Windup episodes, you know that one of the traditions now is that Nellie reads every brand name from top to bottom, all in a row. Nellie, begin.
AVA, Abingdon, Accutron, Ad Patina, Aether Apparel, Alpina, Anordain, Analog Shift, Arkin, Artifact, Astor and Banks, Atelier, Wen, Awake, Axia, Baltic, Bamford, Bublo, Beaufort, Benris, Bespoke Watch Projects, Braver, Bremont, Brew Watch Co., Briston, Brooklands, Brooklotti, Bulova, Siga Designs, Christopher Ward, Simier, Citizen, Clements, D1 Milano, Doxa, Doug Glasuta, David Lane Designs, DeRike Watches, Dennison, DePancel, Dryden, Dufresne, Duckworth, Eastolman, eBay, Echo Neutra, Elliott Brown, Epson Watch Movement, Erebus, Esterbrook, Ferrer, Far and Swit, Festina, Fitwell, Buckle, Formex, Fossil, Frederic Constant, Furlon Mari, G-Shock, Giant Mouse, Grand Central Watch, Haim, HTD Watches, Hampton Watch, Hanhart, Heron Watch Co., Hodinky Insurance, Orage, Islander, Jack Mason, Jacques Bianchi, Jones and Horan, Young Hans, Yonkers, Kuo, Lorca, Mad Editions, Mon, Makina, Marathon, March Lab, Marin Instruments, Marlowe Watch Co., Matt Watches, Maurice Lacroix, Maurice de Mauriac, Meistersinger, Micro Milspec, Miota, Monbray, Monta, Mr. Jones Watches, Mula Glasuta, Nevada Grenchen, Nomadic, Normalzite, Oris, Papar Watch Co., Pollen, Peckignay, Prevail, Rapport London, Raven, Rosenbush, Schaefer, Seiko Instruments, Selton, Serica, Shinola, Space One, Spinnaker, Springmaid, Squale, Stella, Sternglass, Stova, Strom, Studio Underdog, Sunrex, The Watch Preserve, Time Module, Timex, Topo Designs, Turgoan, Trafford, Trasca, Tipsum, Ver, Venezianico, Virage, Vulcane, Watch Gang, Watchcraft, William Wood, Wise, Woolbrook and Douglas, Wren Watches, Zarek, Yama, and Zodiac.
Wow.
That was maybe the best one I've ever done.
That was clean.
Yeah, that was
very
good.
clean.
That was about a full 2 minutes.
And it's 3 pages single-spaced.
I liked that you took breaths when it was a new page, instinctually. Kind of funny.
Well, the page break is but
Are
a
you
comma.
a trained actor?
Don't rub it in. But yes, my first full year of college was just spent like rolling around on the floor, breathing and going, ah.
Is that what you do in acting school?
Yeah, it really is.
Wow.
Wish I were kidding. Cost too much money for that. Anyway.
So that was great. We're going to wrap it up one last time. Just the facts. We're talking the New York City Windup Watch Fair taking place at Center 415 on 5th Avenue between 37th and 38th Streets. That's 415 5th Avenue if you want to do a little map questing. It'll take place on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, October 17th, 18th, and 19th. On Friday and Saturday, it'll be from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, it'll be from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Free, open to everybody, no registration necessary. It's the watch event for everybody. Come one, come all. Bring your dogs, bring your children. We'll have activity books.
Boom.
It's going to be great.
Follow along for details at our Instagram, at Windup Watch Fair, at Worn and Wound. And all of the details that we spoke about today will be available for your reference at windupwatchfair.com.
It's true.
Sweet.
All right, everybody. See you soon.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.